Sometimes it's easy to forget that the saints were a lot like us. And they had the same difficulties, the same problems, the same trials, same heartaches. It's easy because so many years separate us, and sometimes like with Saint Joseph, it's 2,000 years separate us. But he was a man who had his own doubts and questions, and like anybody else, and probably even more so, his trust in God was tested, especially with the circumstances with you know finding the his fiance, his wife, because it really was his wife, already expecting, and it wasn't him. Imagine the doubts that came up, and the questions. But he was such a good man, and as the scripture says, he was a just man. So, but that didn't take away from the fact that it was difficult, that it was a definite trial for him. And how did he handle it? How did he deal with the doubts and these trials that came in his life with a lot of trust? And that meant facing the situation or the difficulty without having the answers, right? He didn't have the answers. He didn't know how to fix it. And so many of us try to fix the problems that we have rather than, hand them over to God or surrender them to God. And I think one of the devotions that the Holy Father has, Pope Francis has to Saint Joseph, they say he has a statue of Saint Joseph outside of his office in Saint Martha, and the papal guards see him periodically, slipping pieces of paper underneath the statue, the problems that he has, or the prayer intentions he has, he puts them under Saint Joseph to take care of. And why do you think that is? Personally, I think it's, and he said it on more than one occasion, that Saint Joseph had questions too, but he trusted in God to the point that he could sleep on it and let God take care of it. And he really believed that God would give him the answer, and God did speak to him in dreams. He spoke to him and gave him answers, told him what to do. But it was that, I don't know, it was that surrender and that the lack of trying to have the answers ourselves, to really trust that God has the answers for us. And Saint Joseph is such a model in that, because and we're such worrywarts, most of us. So I think one way to like at least start to imitate Saint Joseph in his trust in God is to hand some of these problems over to Saint Joseph and ask him to intercede for us, so that in some small way we too can have our trust in God and our hope in God increased. It worked for Saint Joseph, and honestly, God works that way for all of us. If we would at least have a small amount of trust, and all of us can start with small amounts, right? We can start with small amounts and work our way up. But if we find ourselves a little handicapped in that area, because again, most of us do tend to worry more than we need to, and actually we don't need to worry at all. God's in control, but we oftentimes try to take control and we just make a mess of it. So if we need to increase our trust and faith in God, our hope, our surrender to God, to God's providence, I don't think we could find any better teacher than Saint Joseph.